Now it's finally here, the electric version of the Mercedes G-Class in the final production version, and we'll tell you everything you need to know about this one here. Is it as off-road capable or even more? What's the range, battery and so on? Everything with Thomas and Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go! The front is not entirely closed. It has this black panel, yes, but these are real cooling holes indeed, and this illuminated front grille. Typical round headlamps in the front, and this element here is just a design thing. There's no air going through there. However, there will be a special air curtain towards the rear soon to come. Then the typical turning indicators here on top, they look so unique, especially when they are on. Does it actually have a frunk? South Sea Blue, by the way, is this matte color, very beautiful color, and let's directly open that front hood. There we go. Yes, distinctive G-Class door closing sound, and oh, you can hear now the electric sound. Well, and there you can see there's this cover here, and underneath, you know, everything of the electric stuff. So there is no space left then for a frunk, but there will be a significant trunk lift. Also still something unique to close that door on the G-Class. The length is 4.72 m or 186 inches. Well, it always depends on the exact length, if it's, you know, with or without spare tire, with or without the so-called design box, what's that, soon to come there, or without a box at all. Different length we also put in the video description or in the pinned comment. Then here we have, in this case then, 20-inch wheels, all the way in black. These are also the biggest ones that are available. Side profile, typical G-Class, this box style, iconic. And now the biggest myth has been, what battery does it get? 116 kilowatt hours net. So kind of similar to the one from the Mercedes EQ as facelift. There it's 118. Here they just have a different buffer actually, because the wind resistance is of course way higher than with the EQS, so the buffer is a little bit different for the net usable size. What realistic range do we expect? Something a little bit less than 400 kilometers or 250 miles because of this CD value, which is, by the way, at 0.44, 0.45 in the AMG line, as it is here right here. That's significantly better than the combustion engine model, and also even more significantly better than the outgoing, the previous G-Class, the pre-facelift version. Yeah, but still, in comparison to other electric vehicles, it's of course still somewhat bad. But there are some aerodynamic twists. But first of all, the rear with this design box, so that's, you know, not as long as, you know, like a spare tire. And then you can actually open it right here. There's a button, and there you can put your charging cable. Like this here is maybe also a good solution when it's winter time and the cable maybe gets dirty or wet and so on. And then you can close it again, and there we go. And you see here this design solution where the black from the rear windscreen is mirrored right there, and then I have the split here for the paint in the lower part. The overall hatch, once again, yeah, has this typical door closing sound as well. And then here we go, the trunk is actually here. This a little bit higher, 555 liters, whereas it would be 575 liters with the normal version. So you don't lose too much as for the trunk space. It's over a meter or 40 inches in height here. Just the length here is just about 70 centimeters. So that's a little bit of the limitation. Typical box opening here as well. Aerodynamics, here this has been tweaked from the pre-facelift version. This is actually like this A-pillar cover is better for aerodynamics and also less wind noise on the interior. Then there is this additional small roof spoiler here that channels the air a little bit better over. And then, I'm not sure if you guys have seen that here, the front hood is even a little bit higher in comparison to the combustion engine version, and that also channels the air better over this really steep windshield. And you might ask yourself, wait a minute, when it's better in an aerodynamic sense and it also looks a little bit stronger, why haven't they put it on the combustion engine version? I asked them, they said, yes, they could have, but they want to keep it less like, you know, unique selling point for the EV version. So I mean, why not? It definitely looks cool also when it has this, you know, this additional little bit higher step there, doesn't it? One of the most unique features of the new G-Class EV, by the way, they call it Mercedes G-Class with EQ technology. So they don't name it EQG because there's a new naming system coming, you know, where they move away again from this EQS, EQC and so on naming. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, but I would just call it G-Class EV or something, or electric G-Class or G-Class electric. Why G-Class with EQ technology? Yeah, tell me in the comments what do you think about this. But what does this EQ technology do here? 4 electric motors, 1 per wheel. This gives good performance, also great off-road capabilities. You can have, let's say, imaginary differential locks, so there are no mechanical differential locks. But because you can control each wheel individually from the torque, then you can have, you know, like a functioning differential lock, but it is no lock, you know what I mean? So this is great for off-road features. So it is even more off-road capable than the combustion engine version. It even has a tiny little bit more ground clearance. Why is that? Well, in the very lower part, so underneath the vehicle, there is the battery pack. So there it has a little bit less ground clearance, but the lowest point of this vehicle overall is between the axles. And at that lowest point, the EV is a tiny bit higher. Also, the wading depth is here at 85 centimeters or 33 inches. That's massive, actually, and, you know, cannot suck air into the engine or something. That doesn't happen here. Higher than that, actually, the risk would be that it gets into the ventilation system and you maybe then at some point get some wet feet. And if you wonder how deep it can go through water, here, this is 85 centimeters in line, you know, about 33 inches, so that the wheels are completely covered in water and even above that. That is quite impressive. These 4 different electric motors can also do some special things with the vehicles. For example, the G-turn, where the car basically turns on standstill. So the wheels create some spin. That's why they can also move sidewards a little bit. And then these wheels would be turning in this direction and the other ones in the other direction. Then it can really turn on standstill. This is all possible because of the, you know, this electric mechanism. Also possible G-steering, so-called. Then, for example, this wheel, when you turn in this direction, this wheel would be kind of locked, but the other wheels keep spinning, and then you can turn around very quickly without being on standstill. You drive still, but in a very, very tight corner. Top speed is 180 kilometers an hour or 112 miles per hour. Sufficient for the motorway use. Yes, at high speeds, due to the CD value, like this wind coefficient, it will consume a lot of energy high speed. Definitely yes. But Mercedes says off-road, supposed to be very efficient. Why is that? It has a 2-speed, you can't say gearbox in a way. It's a 2-speed EV, so to speak. Most electric vehicles just have 1 gear, so to speak. Here you have actually 2 gears, and the one is for the low range and the other one is for the high range, just like a low range gear reduction with the combustion engine vehicle. And last aerodynamic measure here, these air curtains, they lead the air into the rear wheel arch, so this is then more efficient. And one figure is missing as for the performance: acceleration around 5 seconds or a little bit less than 5 seconds, 0 to 1 kilometers an hour or to 60 miles an hour. So yeah, this is about, gets already close to a G63. The G63 with the update is 4.3 seconds with launch control. And this maybe like 4.9, so already really good in the performance, although the weight is around 3 tons. Yes, due to the battery pack, is around 500 kilograms heavier than the normal G-Class, around 400 kilograms heavier than the G63 with the V8. Recharging is 11 kilowatt AC or 200 kilowatt DC, and that gives you 32 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge at a high power fast charging station. Now to the interior, of course, it starts with, yes. Why is that so? Here, you can see this metal part here touches the other metal part, and then it creates like this this sound first and then the rest, and then this is even not enough. You see here, you have to slam it. By the way, here you have a small G also on the door handle. It's hard to see on camera, but there's like a G on this, on this button you can press. And now, by the way, it also features keyless go. Yes, that's new. So it wasn't there before. So you can here hold your hand on the outside, just with holding your key in the pocket or something, and hand on the inside, and then also that sound though, right? Super satisfying, isn't it? Then this cockpit here is also similar to the combustion engine models, but there are some specific features I can tell you. Let's go around. At the moment here, screen all the way black. Need to turn on the ignition, and you can see this is now a touch screen since the facelift, and you also have special off-road gauges you can see and select. Then you have here this panic handle for the off-road features that the passenger can hold on tight. Ambient lighting, beautiful here in between, and also here, look at that, at the turbine vents. This is really beautiful right there, and also here, and they have clicking sounds when you open or close them. Really beautiful. Also, this is here a carbon fiber decal element with blue nuances. Slide this one open. Inductive charging pad. The cup holders are cooled and heated, both USB-C charging as well. Picking the driving modes here. Split opening with space underneath. Also nice closing sounds. And the steering wheel here is AMG line. So it's an AMG line vehicle. Means also horizontal spokes. Hashtag capacitive BS buttons to slide the volume and so on. Shifting pedals, in this case then here, either for recuperation or in the off-road driving mode. It also rules the off-road crawling mode. That's also really interesting. And talking about off-road, this is a special thing about the, no, it's not called EQG, but electric G-Class. I always just say electric G-Class, so that's the way. Here, this is the way. Low range, this would be then to set in the other gear with a different gear ratio. This is the G steering, where you can have like these tight turns, and this is here the G turn. We also have this visualization of the G turn here. It is, by the way, limited to 720 degrees, so you cannot do it like 10 times around, because they say drivers might get confused. So if you've seen, like some social media reels where they smoke the tires out and do it, like for 2 minutes, that won't be happening for the customer. But you can really use it as a customer when you're like going in the forest and then, I can't go further, that doesn't work, I need to turn around and stand still. That will be possible. Seating position with 189, 6'2", still a lot of headroom left. This is a manual shade here for this panoramic roof. And you can also actually open that one. It's always nice to have. I like that microfiber here on top of the ceiling. The seats, however, animal skin only, no alternative yet. However, Mercedes is working also on a more sustainable animal-friendly variant here of the G-Class, especially for the EV version, of course, but it's supposed to come for all versions. And they told me it will be around 2026 when we can expect it. So like with another model year change, and then everything's supposed to be animal-free, they say. The seats can be controlled from the inside of the door, and you have this really upright seating position, so you are king of the road, even here in the EV, of course. What I also appreciate, still manual controls here for the climate unit, and also with, again, nice clicking. In the digital instruments, you can also change the views, and here once again you can also get off-road gauges to have like the compass in there or some additional data. Rear seating, well, headroom is no problem at all actually for tall peoples, 189, 6'2". Legroom, it depends on how you set the front seat, of course. I still have enough legroom because people sit relatively high and upright in the vehicle, so you don't need much length. But it's not the most comfortable experience in the rear if you compare it, for example, to other SUVs. This is still here like this off-road vehicle, and the bolt spring's also pretty stiff overall. And also the riding comfort. Remember, there's independent suspension in the front, but there's a rigid axle in the rear. Yeah, that's of course the thing, so that always reduces comfort in the rear. No doubt about that, but I can show you a very nice feature independent from that. Look at that. When you want to fold down the seats, there we go. This is the way then this is the way, once again, here how you can have this more or less folding flat then that you can also load through longer things. By the way, it does not get a towing hook, no towing capacity at all for the electric version, because it's already so heavy actually, and they wanted to focus, you know, on other stuff for that. 3.5 tons it would be for the combustion engine version. And the question is, do you rather prefer this or the combustion engine version as G63, check it out, or maybe something completely different, the Toyota Land Cruiser?